There are some phrases that are widely used in the marketing field that I find unsettling and very challenging to use myself. And one of those phrases is pain points. I inwardly cringe. I get knots in my stomach when I hear the expression, and it's not one that I find myself able to use. Now, I appreciate that we learn through discomfort. We learn through being uncomfortable in where we are and therefore needing to push ourselves beyond it. We also respond because the situation has become uncomfortable and untenable in many respects. So in some ways, yes, we are experiencing a form of pain, and that is what asks us to move beyond it. In marketing terms, pain points has become a piece of terminology that describes what that discomfort is. But it's framed within the context of opportunism. In many cases, it is about saying, right, this person is feeling deeply uncomfortable, so let's prey upon that discomfort. Let's prey upon that pain in order to encourage them to take an action that we believe to be in their best interests. Or, in worse cases, we believe to be in my best interests. And that is where an awful lot of our business models tend to lead. It tends to lead to where the business or the entrepreneur in question is actually the one who's benefiting, really. And so that's one of the reasons why, although the psychology of it, the theory behind pain points makes sense, the practice tends to diverge from that making sense. And I find it very hard to frame my work within that context. So although when you're talking about, what is it that your clients need from you, then often we get into the terminology of ideal client avatars and pain points. And yet I just feel that from an energetic perspective is distorting the balance, the dynamic. It's distorting the intent. So I struggle to use it. So instead, when I'm talking to my clients, I talk to them about what their clients and customers are thinking, feeling, doing. What is their experience in that moment? And we also talk about how that changes, because when you meet somebody in an experience and you support them through that experience, you move them to another step, and then they are in a different experience. They're in a different mental, emotional, physical state that you are then responding to again. So the dynamic changes over time. But by thinking about the experience, what is it that those clients, those customers are experiencing? What does that mean for them? Putting yourself in their shoes, it can tell you how you need to respond in a way that is actually rising to meet them. Now, that may seem like on paper the same thing as identifying their pain points and then responding to their pain points by giving them what they need in order to take away the pain. On paper, that may sound the same. In practice, the energy of it is incredibly different. And that's what we want to do. In terms of working energetically in our businesses, that's what we want to do. It is the subtle nuances sometimes that make all the difference. It is the nuance between framing it in one way and framing it in another way that allows you to see how you can shift to be more expressive of your purpose, to meet people at a deeper level, to offer a greater level of transformation to them, and in so doing, create your own version of success, create your own reality in your business that isn't deferring to and referencing anybody else's version of what that should be. That's what we're after. So that's why I struggle with some of this terminology, and pain points is a particularly good example. I can't bring myself to use it. I much prefer to talk about the experience, the human level experience that my clients' clients are experiencing, and having in that moment that tells you how you can respond as a human being primarily, not who has a set of gifts that they can bring to a particular situation, rather than thinking of it in terms of opportunism. This is my business and this is how my business can benefit from it. Subtle, but very powerful.